Hello, this is Xbox Ahoy, and this is the 22nd episode of my Black Ops Weapon Guide. Some of you might be familiar with this one. In this episode we're covering the 4th SMG, the AK74U. It's a fully automatic weapon unlocked at level 17. Originating from the Soviet Union, the AK74U is a shortened version of the AK-74 rifle. The AK-74 was named for the year of its introduction, 1974. But the shortened version wasn't introduced until 1979. Technically, the in-game name is incorrect. The proper designation would be the AKS74U. The S stands for Skladnoy, meaning folding, referring to the folding stock of the weapon. The Avtomat Kalashnikova Ukorochennyє, or Kalashnikov shortened automatic rifle, was developed to serve as a compact weapon for tank crews, airmen, and paratroopers. Although compact in size, it fires the same cartridge as the full-size rifle, albeit from a much shorter barrel. This means the muzzle velocity is lower than it might be on a larger weapon, and paired with the smaller sight radius inhibits potential accuracy at longer range. Still, it boasts better penetration than one might otherwise see in a compact, lightweight weapon, and its small size allows the weapon to be carried concealed or in confined spaces. The cartridge fired is the Soviet 5.45 by 39mm round. Normally a steel-cored, armor-piercing variant, granting increasing effectiveness against body armor. Magazine capacity is good at 30 rounds, and extended mags will give you an even better 45. The AK-74U is a high-damage SMG, tied with the MP5K, and will kill in 3 body shots at close range, or 2 to the head. Long-range damage drops off to the usual 5-bullet kill for SMGs, and the 74U has the same limited range as its peers, losing its damage advantage from middle distance out. Rate of fire is relatively slow, again tied with the MP5K at 750 rounds per minute. A slower rate of fire does ameliorate the recoil somewhat, giving the AK-74U only moderate recoil to counter its high damage. Although less manageable than some of the low damage SMGs, the AK-74U bests the MP5K as far as handling at middle range is concerned. Other handling characteristics are also favourable, and as with most SMGs, the aim time is quick, at 200 milliseconds. Reload is swift too, especially considering the generous magazine size. 2.1 seconds is nearly a whole second faster than the MP5K. The iron sights are of the familiar AK type, with the front post providing a clear indicator of your target, but there are a few optical attachments at your disposal. The red dot sight is the squarer Soviet type, as used by the AK-47 and RPK, and provides a larger than average view around target when compared to the standard red dot sight. It's useful for slightly faster target acquisition and can help you better slightly compensate for recoil. So if the iron sights aren't your thing, the red dot is not a bad choice. The Reflex Sight is similar, behaving in an identical fashion but offering a slightly smaller view on target. The ACOG Scope is a poor choice for the 74U. It increases the recoil you'll experience and slows your aim speed to nearly double the default. Hipfire remains effective, but the ACOG is designed as a long-range scope, something to which this weapon is ill-suited. Dual mags gives you 2 magazines taped together, for a faster first reload, and alternate reloads subsequent to that. The faster reload is always a nice benefit for an aggressive class, as being caught reloading close to an enemy can prove troublesome. The key benefit with dual mags is the increased starting ammunition you get. This lessens the need for scavenger in your first perk slot, and permits longer streaks without running dry. Extended mags gives you 45 rounds between reloads, although sadly won't increase your starting supply like dual mags. It does give you an edge in gunfights where you encounter multiple people at once though, and the extra 50% can occasionally be invaluable. The grip stabilizes the weapon and decreases recoil when firing. This makes the weapon much more deadly at middle range, and helps the weapon keep up with assault rifles for such engagements, in spite of the SMG's rapid damage drop-off. This makes it an effective attachment, granting a very positive benefit for those who seek a more versatile weapon. Rapid fire behaves in almost the opposite way. The increased rate of fire gives you substantially more ability in close-range gunfights, but the increased recoil will harm your accuracy at range. If you plan on using the 74U in a traditional SMG role, getting as close to the enemy as possible, then rapid fire is a very deadly attachment. Your effective damage is increased by 33%. Almost nothing else will compare to this up close. One popular combination is the grip paired with rapid fire via Warlord, and while this can be effective, the 2 attachments effectively fight each other's effects, and you have to sacrifice steady aim or sleight of hand. two perks that are arguably much more useful. It's best to choose either balanced handling or raw power up close, rather than trying to get the benefits of each. Rapid fire in particular demands frequent reloads, and the sleight of hand is very valuable. The suppressor will keep you off the minimap when firing and suits a stealthier role with the weapon. However, you do lose a significant portion of your effective range, and given that the high damage SMG's only real advantage lies with its close range damage, the suppressor is an ill fit for the 74U. The better handling SMGs, such as the Spectre, generally fare better when suppressed. The AK74U has one last attachment at its disposal, and it's quite the unusual one for the SMG class. Like the assault rifles, you're able to mount an underslung grenade launcher to the weapon, useful when clearing choke points or objectives. Damage is identical to the assault rifle equivalent, and you'll get 2 grenades as per usual. The in-game model is a little different. Unlike the standard M2A3 or Russian GP25, the 74U instead uses the BS-1 Tishina, a smaller 30mm suppressed grenade launcher. The most effective attachments for the AK74U are, without a doubt, the grip and rapid fire. The former gives you much greater stability for a very versatile weapon, capable of competing with the assault rifles at middle range. And rapid fire turns the 74U into a close-range powerhouse, inaccurate but otherwise tearing through the opposition at typical SMG ranges. There are a couple of other worthy choices. Dual mags is useful for the additional ammunition, which frees your first perk slot from scavenger, and extended mags are always useful on a weapon, especially if you aren't using sleight of hand. Overall, the grip or rapid fire are arguably the most deadly, but for our class loadout we'll be using dual mags, as the additional ammunition permits more liberal use. As a close-range weapon, the 74U suits an aggressive playstyle, where you remain mobile and seek out the enemy, striking from a position of advantage. Playing aggressively exposes you to a number of potential risks, so our class loadout focuses on risk mitigation and the tools you'll need to stay alive while taking the fight to the enemy. Flak Jacket is our first perk, granting much better resistance to all things explosive. This makes room clearing a much safer affair, as claymores are very unlikely to kill you. You'll also be less vulnerable to grenades, which is very useful when moving through high traffic areas or when near objectives. Grenades are a very common threat, so employing Flak Jacket will help keep you alive longer. Lightweight can also be used here, especially useful for a runner class and objective games, but expect to see more deaths as a result of explosives. Another alternative if you aren't using dual mags is Scavenger, especially if you decide to use rapid fire for a close range specific class. Our second perk is a very strong choice for aggressive play. Sleight of hand halves your reload time, and the Pro variant also halves the time it takes to aim down your sights. This makes close-range encounters less of a gamble. You can get on target quicker and reload in the thick of things without leaving yourself helpless for too long. The fast reload means you can dole out magazine after magazine very quickly indeed. Great for those times when you encounter a large number of enemies in a short space of time. Our final perk choice helps keep us in the fight and makes securing objectives quickly a breeze. Marathon is a must for any objective game mode, and paired with the SMG's natural mobility advantage will mean you'll be able to outrun most others that you encounter. For your grenades, the shorter fuse of the Semtex over frags and faster throw speed of concussion grenades are useful traits for an aggressive class. C4 is also useful in your equipment slot, great for clearing out entrenched enemies or as a short-range selectively detonated grenade analog. Tactical insertions are also helpful in some cases, especially on the larger maps. For your secondary, your pistol of choice will work best, although with your fast reload, the AK74U should fill most of your combat needs. Aggressive players move fast and hit hard, but there's a balance to be had, and while bull rushing the enemy may work against some players, you should take care to avoid getting yourself killed. With a little situational awareness and a dose of caution, you can still attain the higher kill streaks while playing aggressively. Doing so is just a matter of mitigating risks. Avoid open areas of maps. These will expose you to longer sightlines and might mean you'll end up in an asymmetrical gunfight, at which you'll stand a poor chance of winning. Instead, stick to the interior routes through levels. Here, you're much more likely to encounter enemies within your effective range, and be able to unleash the full potential of the 74U. Beware the well-prepared enemy. A foe entrenched in an interior position might very well be expecting company, so learning the common defensive spots is crucial. With the SMGs, you have superior hipfire over other weapons, so don't be afraid to pin the trigger before aiming should you encounter the unexpected. By the time you guide your shots onto target, they may very well already have succumbed to your fire. The AK74U's enduring popularity reflects the devastating nature of the weapon, and it's a forgiving choice when compared to some of the other SMGs. It boasts a good balance between damage and handling. Although recoil is present, the clear iron sights make it easy to compensate. So even without the grip, the 74U excels at middle range. However, it loses effectiveness quickly at longer ranges, and most assault rifles will easily best the AK74U by the time you're dealing minimum damage. Landing 5 shots against an opponent who only needs to hit you 3 times will prove difficult. Still, if you can enter conflicts from a position of advantage on an unwitting opponent, the recoil shouldn't prove too much to handle, and the 74U can serve as an adequate hybrid between assault rifle and SMG. Its main asset is its versatility for aggressive use. No other weapon has quite the blend of damage, handling, and mobility. A favourite of many, it's a common sight on the battlefield, and is deadly in the right hands. Thanks for watching. This has been Xbox Ahoy. Join me next time when I'll be covering the next assault rifle, the FAMAS. Until then, farewell.